Welcome back to our channel. Today's story is about July 17th, 1996. A routine flight took off from New York and vanished into history. July 17th, 1996, a calm summer evening over New York. Families, students, and travelers gathered at JFK Airport, preparing for what they thought would be an ordinary flight. Among them were 230 passengers boarding TWA Flight 800, a Boeing 747 bound for Paris. The airport buzzed with excitement and routine. Children tugging at parents' hands, couples exchanging goodbyes, students clutching passports and tickets. Security checks and boarding announcements filled the air. For these travelers, the evening promised nothing more than a safe and routine journey across the Atlantic. At 8:19 p.m., the massive aircraft lifted off the runway, ascending gracefully into the twilight sky. The engines roared steadily, and the wings glided through the soft evening air. The city lights shrank below as the plane gained altitude. Everything appeared perfectly normal. For 12 minutes, all seemed routine. Passengers settled into their seats, some reading, some dozing off. Flight attendants moved calmly along the aisles, offering drinks and safety instructions. Pilots maintained steady communication with air traffic control, reporting routine ascent and cruising conditions. But then disaster struck. Witnesses along Long Island's coastline noticed a sudden, bright flash in the sky. A ball of fire erupted midair, followed by burning debris cascading toward the ocean below. The scene was terrifying, almost surreal. As people tried to comprehend what they were seeing, radar screens confirmed the unthinkable. The aircraft had disappeared from tracking systems. Within moments, all 230 lives aboard were gone. Families, friends, colleagues vanished in an instant. The world watched in shock, trying to grasp the incomprehensible. How could a modern, widely trusted aircraft simply disappear midair? Was it a mechanical failure? A missile strike? Terrorism? The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, initiated one of the most comprehensive aviation investigations in history. Recovery teams began the painstaking task of retrieving wreckage from the Atlantic Ocean. Divers descended into the murky depths, bringing back pieces of fuselage, engines, seats, and personal belongings. Each fragment was cataloged, photographed, and meticulously analyzed in hopes of finding a clue to what had occurred. Eyewitness accounts created both leads and confusion. People along the Long Island coast reported seeing a streak of light ascending into the sky, followed by a massive explosion. Some insisted it resembled a missile. Others described burning debris falling in spirals into the ocean. These accounts were vivid but often contradictory. Media coverage amplified these stories, feeding a sense of national panic. Headlines screamed about possible missile strikes, terrorist plots, or government cover-ups. Families sought closure, but answers were slow and incomplete. Investigators faced a monumental challenge, reconstructing events that occurred thousands of feet above the ocean. The wreckage was scattered over a wide area, with some parts resting at incredible depths. Recovery efforts required divers, specialized equipment, and months of painstaking work. Every fragment recovered was examined in painstaking detail. Engineers studied the metal, wiring, and structural damage. Fuel lines were inspected. Flight control systems were analyzed. Each piece was a clue, a piece of the puzzle that could lead to understanding the cause of the crash. Conspiracy theories proliferated. Some claimed terrorism. Others suggested a missile strike. While sensational, these theories distracted from the painstaking forensic work that would ultimately reveal the truth. Over months, investigators slowly narrowed the possibilities. Evidence increasingly pointed to an internal cause rather than an external attack. No missile fragments, no explosive residue. No signs of tampering or sabotage were found. Every simulation, every test, confirmed that the source of the explosion originated within the aircraft itself. The task of identifying the precise cause was painstaking. Investigators had to examine every system aboard the plane: electrical, mechanical, and environmental. Wiring schematics were compared to recovered fragments. Fuel tanks were analyzed under simulated conditions. Temperatures, electrical currents, and structural integrity were all scrutinized. Despite public pressure for quick answers, the NTSB remained meticulous. They knew that any rushed conclusion could be disastrous, both for aviation safety and for the families seeking closure. Finally, the evidence began to coalesce. The aircraft had not been struck from outside. The explosion came from within, and the source of this internal disaster would forever alter aviation safety standards worldwide. Years of analysis revealed a critical finding. The explosion originated in the center wing fuel tank. Normally safe under standard conditions, the tank became a lethal hazard due to several converging factors. The tank was nearly empty, leaving a significant volume of highly flammable fuel vapors. Above the tank, air conditioning packs produced heat that raised the temperature inside the tank, and aging electrical wiring developed a short circuit, producing a spark. One small spark was enough. The result was catastrophic. The fuel tank exploded with immense force, tearing the aircraft apart mid-air. Pieces of the plane, along with personal belongings, fell into the Atlantic Ocean, creating a scene of unimaginable devastation. The streak of light seen by eyewitnesses was not a missile but debris from the plane itself, briefly rising as it caught fire before descending into the ocean. Investigators meticulously reconstructed the sequence of events. The spark inside the fuel tank ignited vapors, causing a violent explosion. The blast destroyed the center structure of the plane, leading to immediate loss of control and complete disintegration in the air. The findings were shocking in their simplicity. A single spark inside a fuel tank could destroy one of the largest passenger aircraft ever built. There was no external attack, no terrorist act, and no malicious intent, just a perfect storm of mechanical, electrical, and environmental factors. While devastating, the truth provided clarity. It explained the eyewitness reports, the debris pattern, and the catastrophic nature of the accident. It also provided crucial insight for preventing future tragedies. The NTSB report became a roadmap for improving aviation safety, highlighting vulnerabilities that could be addressed with technological solutions and stricter standards. The TWA Flight 800 tragedy became a turning point in aviation history. The disaster exposed vulnerabilities that had previously been underestimated, forcing engineers and regulators to take action. Fuel tank designs were upgraded to prevent vapor ignition. Nitrogen inerting systems were introduced. Electrical wiring standards were strengthened, and heat management systems were improved. Air travel, once taken for granted, became measurably safer. 230 lives were lost. Each person aboard represented a story, a family, a future abruptly ended. Yet their deaths were not in vain. The lessons learned from that night have saved countless lives since 1996. The tragedy also illustrated the importance of rigorous investigation, patience, and perseverance. Conspiracy theories and speculation can mislead, but evidence analyzed methodically ultimately reveals the truth. From the chaos, the aviation industry emerged stronger. From the loss, a legacy of safety and vigilance was born. Every flight today carries the echoes of those 230 lives, guiding engineers, pilots, and regulators to prevent history from repeating itself. TWA Flight 800 may have disappeared into the night over Long Island, but its story continues to soar in every cabin, over every runway, and across every continent. Sometimes tragedy becomes a catalyst for hope. Lessons learned from loss can save countless lives in the future. And while the pain of that night will never be forgotten, its impact continues to protect millions every day. The flight may have ended in disaster, but its legacy ensures that the skies remain safer for generations to come.